Liam Holt wasn't supposed to be in his mother's lap that Saturday morning. But then again, supposed to was more of a suggestion for him than a rule. The 19-year-old had chaotic curiosity of a toddler with a toolkit, and when your mother happened to be a quantum physicist, that toolkit got dangerously interesting. Dr. Riana Holt had left early for her research center, muttering something about quantum phase inversion thresholds, which Liam interpreted as, "Don't touch my stuff." Naturally, he took it as an invitation. The lab tucked neatly into their basement glowed faintly from soft hum of monitors and crystalline light panels. The centerpiece of the chaos sat on the counter, a silver-cored, cylinder-shaped device with cables that looked like spaghetti from the future. To Liam, it looked like a fancy Nerf blaster. To Rihanna, it was a week's worth of sleepless nights and 3 near accidents involving microwaved coffee. He leaned closer. "Wow," he whispered, turning the device over. It had a sleek nozzle and a faint blue pulse along the handle. "If this isn't a prototype alien laser gun, I'll eat a motherboard." His phone buzzed. It was his girlfriend, Maya. He balanced the phone on the desk, both hands examining the mysterious object. That was when his elbow caught a loose cable. The device spun, hit the edge of the desk, and landed with a clank on the floor. Crap! Liam dove for it. The trigger clicked under his palm. A blinding blue pulse erupted, and the entire room bent inward like it was inhaling. Then silence. When Liam opened his eyes, the world had changed dramatically. The desk now towered over him like a skyscraper. Dust particles hung in the air like beach balls. His own sneakers looked like size of mountain cliffs. He blinked. No. He looked around. His voice came out high and thin like a chipmunk at a job interview. "Oh, Mom's gonna kill me." His phone, thanks heaven, had shrunk to lying nearby like a tiny black tile. He picked it up. It felt light, perfectly usable, except no signal. Right, of course, because quantum Wi-Fi is so reliable. He rubbed his temples. "Okay, Liam, think. Step 1, survive. Step 2, fix this. Step 3, never let Mom find out. Easy." That was when a low rumbling sound rolled across the floor. He turned. From the shadows under the staircase, 2 enormous green eyes blinked. Oh no. His cat, Muffin, emerged, except cat was no longer an adequate description. Muffin was now a 30-foot-tall tiger with an attitude problem. Her whiskers alone were the length of fishing rods. "Hey, Muffin," Liam said weakly. "It's me, your loving human who feeds you." Muffin hissed, pupils narrowing. She pounced. Liam bolted, the floor vibrating beneath him as massive paws slammed down like meteor strikes. He zigzagged between scattered screws and paperclips, each one now the size of a car. Muffin's paw swept past him, sending a hurricane of air that launched him into a tangle of cables. "Not the ending I planned for my weekend," he yelled, trembling. He hit a spool of copper wire and rolled, barely dodging Muffin's claws as she tried to fish him out. He squeezed through a vent opening, gasping. Behind him, Muffin's nose pressed against the grate, sniffing furiously. Inside the vent, the world became a metallic maze. The air smelled of dust and ozone. Liam crouched, heart pounding. "Okay, new plan. Stay alive long enough for Mum to notice her quantum lace of doom is missing." He started crawling somewhere above. The refrigerator hummed like a distant thunderstorm. Every vibration felt like an earthquake. After what felt like hours, he found a gap leading into the kitchen. He peeked out. The marble counter stretched like a gleaming white desert. The soup pot on the stove steamed like a volcano. His stomach growled. Maybe the world's tiniest snack won't hurt, he thought. Then he froze. Muffin sat on the counter, tail flicking like a lazy whip, staring straight at him. Oh, come on! He dashed toward the table leg, narrowly avoiding a swing on her paw that sent a gust of so strong it flipped him backward. He rolled, scrambled under the table, and ducked behind a fallen spoon that now resembled a silver canoe. I swear you used to love me, he muttered. Muffin sniffed, ears twitching, trying to locate him. Her nose brushed the floor near the spoon. Liam held his breath. Then a sprint. He ran towards the sugar bowl. Muffin pounced again, and the shockwave sent a cascade of sugar crystals raining down like a glittering boulders. One bounced off his head. Oh, delicious pain! He darted behind a cereal box and lay toppled from breakfast. The bright cartoon mascot now loomed like a mural of doom. Liam sighed, wiping sugar dust off his face. Oh, think, Holt. You're a robotics geek. Use your brain. He looked around. There were resources. Toothpicks, foil, crumbs, rubber bands. Fine. If the cat wants war, she's getting a micro-engineer's war. He got to work, fashioning a makeshift glider from a potato clip bag and tape scraps. It wasn't elegant, but neither was he. When Muffin peeked again, he launched himself from the edge of the counter, arms stretched, chip bag fluttering like a shimmering parachute. Eat silence, furball, he yelled. He glided halfway across the kitchen before the chip bag ripped. He crash-landed into the fruit basket with a squeaky "Oh!" Muffin leapt after him, sending oranges tumbling like wrecking balls. Liam scrambled between them using a slice of lemon peel as a shield. Vitamin C defense! He darted across the counter, looking for a way down. The sink loomed nearby, filled with water and a few floating bits of garlic. The counter was a cliff. Below, the soup spot. Then inspiration struck. Robot, he breathed. He tore off a garlic peel, shaped it into a crude canoe, and pushed off from the counter's edge, sliding down the ladle handle that tilted over the pot. Steam whooshed around him. He landed in the soup with a soft splash. It was like rowing through a golden sea. Carrots the size of boulders floated by, and herbs hung like underwater forests. The smell was heavenly, if you ignored the part where you were the garnish. He grabbed a silver of spaghetti as an oar and started rowing with his strength. Captain Liam, navigating the minestrone of destiny. Above, Muffin peered into the pot, whiskers twitching. She pawed at the rim, and a massive droplet of soup splashed down beside him, sending his garlic pot spinning. Whoa, no, bad kitty. Soup's not for sharing. Liam tried to steer towards the edge of the pot, but the current pulled him toward the center, where a chunk of potato bobbed dangerously. He collided, sending his phone tumbling from his pocket. It floated beside him, screen flickering. Signal, come on! He pressed the voice command. The microphone picked up his squeaky tone. Call Mom! It buzzed, then went silent. He gorned. Figures, quantum range of 2 inches. The steam ticked, turning the air into a glowing fog. His garlic boat began to wilt. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. Suddenly, a shadow loomed overhead, his mother's face enormous, peering down the pot. "Mom, Mom, down here!" Liam waved frantically, splashing broth everywhere. Riana frowned. "Strange. I could have sworn I didn't add this much seasoning." No, not seasoning," he squawked. She stirred gently with the spoon. Liam paddled desperately to avoid the swirling wave. "This is not how I imagined family soup night." Then she paused, staring closely at something floating among the herbs. Liam froze. Her gaze locked right onto him. Her eyes widened. "Liam?" He cupped his hands and yelled, "Yes, it's me! Don't scoop me!" Riana blinked, realization dawning. She dropped the spoon with a clatter, spun and bolted to her lap. A few seconds later, she returned holding the same silver device, the shrinking gun, now set to reverse mode. She aimed carefully. "Hold still!" Liam gulped. "Do I have a choice?" A blue pulse flashed. The world exploded in reverse. The counter shrank back to normal, the soup pot returned to human scale, and Liam stumbled backward, full-sized, dripping and smelling like garlic triumph. He looked around, blinking. Did it work? Riana lowered the device, relief folding her face. "Liam, what were you thinking?" He raised a finger. "Technically, I wasn't. That's the problem." She sighed, half laughing, half ready to ground him until graduation. "You're lucky I didn't add salt yet." Muffin meowed from the counter, pretending innocent, tail twitching. Liam glared at her. You were terrifying." Riana chuckled, shaking her head. "I'll add cat deterrent to my next project." Liam collapsed into the chair, still drenched in soup but grinning like he'd just come back from war. "You know, Mom, being 3 millimeters tall really changed your perspective." "I'd imagine so. I mean, every crumb looks like a boulder, every sound like thunder, and Muffin," he shuddered dramatically, "is basically Godzilla of fur." Riana smiled softly, handing him a towel. "I'm just glad you are safe, and maybe next time you'll ask before borrowing my prototypes." He grinned sheepishly. "Probably not, but I'd think about it." She rolled her eyes. "I'll take that as progress." As they cleaned the chaos, soup splash, scattered wires, a very confused cat, Liam couldn't help but feel a strange mix of exhaustion and awe. He'd seen the world from the size of a grain of rice, faced a house cat like a monster, rode through soup in a garlic boat, and survived. Not bad for Saturday.